started. Does anyone want to get out?
Hey everybody, it's Nick from the Phoenix Press here, and we are gathered here today to memorialize someone who's been very special to all of our lives. Hello, Apex Comics. Let's just not waste any time. Well, we can waste some time, I guess. Let's bring him in, shall we?
I don't care. I should be.
How are you doing, Nix?
I'm doing fine.
Yeah, I get the feeling. I totally feel you. Well,
that's just prime.
hey, Rose, how you doing?
Oh, I'm functioning.
Also, Apex says hi. Now, we got one member of the DK crew left. I'm just
Fourth wall break inside a fourth wall break. That's like 16 walls.
hello, Chris. How are you doing?
Doing all right. End of the workday, so yeah.
Yeah. So, we're here to talk about the voice actress Arleen Sorkin and her role, her role as Harley Quinn. So I wanted to kind of first start off. We'll go around, start with Nix, then Chris, then Rose, and myself. I just kind of wanted everyone to individually share what the character meant to them, and like what the actress meant. So, Nix, you have the floor.
So, I didn't really know Arleen Sorkin a lot out of her Harley Quinn role, but my mom and my aunt did used to watch Days of Our Lives, and they seemed to be quite fond of her on that, so.
Mm-hmm.
But I really liked the character starting from the animated series. I think actually she was my go-to Harley. I didn't really particularly like any of the other voice actors who came after her. I just didn't really think they had, the voice for Harley.
The stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Arlene brought something to Harley that I think, for me anyways, what made her so iconic. At least to me.
She brought the Brooklyn.
She did. Well, so funny thing is actually my older brother, his baby mama, back when they were still together for Christmas one year, went out and got me, and I can't find it for the life of me, and I'm very sad about it, but it was a limited edition Harley doll with like green and red instead of her usual red and black.
Oh, Christmas Harley.
Yeah. And there was one year where I was walking with my mom in the city, and we came across a comic book store, and I found a Harley figurine from the animated series, like specifically from the animated series. And it was pricey, but I was like, I'm getting this or I will not survive.
I respect that.
I cannot find it for the life of me, but I love it dearly.
Yeah, like that was like one of your classic childhood toys. Like we all kind of have like our toys from our childhood that we remember fondly. So, like how does like Arleen passing, like how does that kind of affect you?
It's wild. I mean, first we had Kevin Conroy pass. Now we've got Arleen gone, and it's like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Someone put bubble wrap around Mark Hamill, please. Someone just wrap him up in bubble wrap.
For real though.
So, anything else you'd like to say, Nix?
Rest in peace, Arleen. You will always be Harley to me.
Yes,
The one true Harley.
I can agree with that sentiment. So, Chris, same thing to you. Like, what does Harley the character mean to you? What does Arleen in the role mean to you? And like, what does the passing mean to you?
As somebody that can remember when the animated series first started and seeing Harley Quinn's debut, it was actually like a breath of fresh air. Because like, I know the later films in the Batman franchise didn't take themselves very seriously, but as much as Joker was the scary kind of, it was the clown prince of crime or whatever, we basically got like a sexy like Harlequin / Betty Boop character that Arleen's voice made it perfect. Like, you look at the rogues gallery of female villains and they all have a very sensual, vanilla, like they all kind of bleed into one another. It's like, if you were to take out of context, if you didn't hear the voice and you didn't hear or see the character speak and you read the lines, that could be Selena Kyle, that could be Poison Ivy, but there's, no mistaking any of the lines said by Harley. I mean, and Arleen is Harleen, I think that character was made because of her. If I recall, there was...
Okay, Chris, you keep talking. I gotta look up,
Yeah. I honestly, I remember hearing something about her and somebody else put on and this was probably during the days of Our Lives soap opera stuff or whatever. They did the Harley Quinn thing, and she did her voice, and I think the only difference was that she had like a skirt on or something, and they're like, dude, that's
right.
There you go.
I'm on at the roll. Let's get it. Okay, 2 drummer boys going to a bar. Ba-dum. Boy, you're a rough crowd. You forced me to shoot at you the moon.
We're sorry. You are very funny.
Because Paul Dini thought up Harley.
Like let's just kind of take a second to
That's
just
proto Harley.
I'm just trying. Like, okay, here we go. Let's just take a second to look at this outfit. All right, this is Harley Quinn. Like,
yep.
Like the colors, the design, like kind of like the asymmetrical, like how the colors are like very asymmetrical. Like like
Harley Quinn.
Yes. Like here's the thing you need to know about like Arleen Sorkin wasn't merely the voice. Hey, Master TDS, thank you for stopping by. Sorry, I wasn't like acknowledging people. It's just people were talking. I didn't want to, interrupt them. There was some cooking going on. So yeah. But anyway, so like Arleen Sorkin wasn't just the voice of Harley Quinn. She was literally the physical embodiment of Harley Quinn.
She was the inspiration.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get to my stuff, but like, Chris, are you finished with your stuff or?
Yeah. I just want to add that as far as her passing goes, it definitely closes a chapter on quality animation and voice acting. And, I think Nix was saying it as well. Like we've had other voice actresses play Harley. We've had other voice actors play Batman, but nothing will touch the original animated series. And it sucks. It feels like there's an epoch has ended. We're not going back to that, guys. Get the physical media of that because, that's a classic now.
The end of an era.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm glad I was there for the ride, man, because it was great while it lasted.
Oh, it's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine.
Yeah.
So Rose, how does this make you feel?
Well, it kind of goes back to I was very much an escapism girl, and I liked the dark and twisted and crazy because it was an escape. It was a forget this stuff. And Batman was always one I had this weakness for. And with the animated series, I got what I could not get in any live action because none of them were perfect. None of them could master Bruce and Batman correctly. There's always a gap in one of the characters. And you could compare the movies around it and everything else, but the character always fell flat. So the animated series is where I went into. And Harley, for the stuff that I've been through, for the stuff that my mom's been through and stuff, she connected on that psychological level of the wary of what you drag yourself into, what you connect yourself to, because at the very beginning, she was just a manipulated, kind of gaslit in, groomed girl, but she became as much a villain as him. She became as twisted as him. She became abusive back to him. And it shows you how easily you can be destroyed by letting others hurt you and other stuff. And it really was actually deep and psychological, the way they created her.
And dare I say, I correct me if I'm wrong, Rose, or correct me if I'm wrong, Nix. I personally believe this is why Harley Quinn resonates with so many women. It's because like they can see like the abuse, like Harley Quinn's character is kind of an allegory for domestic abuse and like all the stew of it. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. Like, I don't want to talk over you ladies, but like, am I far off the mark there?
No,
Not really.
and I definitely even know a lot of guys who were the battered spouses who ended up liking and connecting to her a lot and stuff, because it really gave you that character that you could understand if you've been through that kind of stuff, regardless of who you were.
Yeah. Yeah, abuse is a universal thing, you know. If you've survived it, you can identify with it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's kind of why Harley Quinn as a character really took off. Like, her character was kind of like, people don't realize, her character was a bit of a slow burn. Like, I would say her character really didn't get to take off because she wasn't introduced into the comics proper until 1999, like years after the cartoon series ended. Like, she wasn't really a proper character until like the early 2000s. And I really feel like her character didn't take off until the late 2000s. You know, like, I know some people say that like the Suicide Squad movie like made her as a character, but like, here's the thing.
No way in hell. No way in hell. She was beloved when I was a child.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
sorry,
and
all you kiddos. I'm old. I mean,
here's the thing. Harley Quinn was a mainstream successful character before that movie. Like, I would say the movie succeeded because like it was a selling point that they're having Harley Quinn in that movie. Like, that was the reason you went to see that movie.
That's at least how it was for, like, when I saw it. I remember a lot of people were like, oh yeah, it's got Harley Quinn in it. And, like, and Will Smith. Nobody said anything about any of the other characters, but I was like, oh hey, there's Killer Croc.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I mean, it really does say something, though, that a comic book character here, born from the cartoon, made the leap over to the comics instead of the other way around. That says how good this character is.
Yeah, and we've seen that a couple more times since then. Like, X-23 was originally an X-Men Evolution. We've kind of seen it a few other times. Like, Coulson is a character that was from the movies that was integrated in the comics. So it's happened before a couple times. But like, I think Harley Quinn is kind of the poster child for that very phenomenon.
Oh yeah,
and it happened before her, and it's happened since. But like, when you think of
she's
like,
the one who popularized it.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
She's the Chun-Li of comic book characters.
Wait, what?
She's the Chun-Li of the female comic book crossover characters. Like, before fighting games, like if you look at the fighting games that existed before Street Fighter 2, it was always generic karate guys or Bruce Lee ripoffs. And then all of a sudden we got Chun-Li, and it was like, oh my god, women can kick ass too. And now she was one of the most ripped off characters. Like, everybody can do the lightning legs now. And that's Harley for you, you know? Like, people came out, they're like, oh, you can have this character, this sympathetic villain who actually turns into a hero later? Like,
wait, I gotta say this. Are you saying that Chun-Li is the original thick thighs save lives character?
Yes.
Oh, hell yes.
First lady. The first lady of fighting games, baby.
Oh dear God. Oh,
yeah, I would definitely put Harley up there. Like, she's an American icon now. You could just show her face with the little, or white makeup and the little hat, and everyone would know that's Harley Quinn.
Like, I'd argue when it comes to like DC Comics characters, you have your Trinity, and then number 4 is Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
I'd even argue in some aspects Harley Quinn is more of a popular character than Wonder Woman.
She's almost up there with Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I knew girls when I was a kid that would watch Batman to see her.
Yeah.
yeah.
I knew boys who would too, but that was a little bit different reasoning behind it usually.
True story though. When the Suicide Squad movie was first coming out, like the first one, not the remake or whatever you want to call that. I remember my younger cousin actually really wanted a Property of Joker jacket, like she wears in the movie. The thing is, my cousin at the time was 15, and my aunt was like, "Are you kidding me? No, you're not getting it." I ended up getting a Harley Quinn costume for Halloween that year, and I went with that version of Harley because it was the easiest one to find. And after I was done with it, I told my younger cousin, and I got the permission from her mom, of course, but I was like, "Here, you can have my jacket, whatever you want, just bring it back."
All right, John. All right, I got to do this for you. All right, people keep talking, everybody.
Oh, I'm sitting here going, you know what? If I have to talk about this, I'm going to see how much I can actually draw her from memory.
Oh,
oh my god! All right,
just because it's fucking Harley.
John, this is for you. That is every parent's face when they see that scene. And the kids are like, "What? What?" They're like, "What?" The kids are like, "What? What? What's the what? Why turn
leave me alone? I'm playing Call of Duty."
Funny thing is that I think Harley's the only character who could ever pull that off because she looks so ridiculous with the makeup and the hat on, but it's still sexy at the same time.
Yeah, business
now if
below
you have
the neck.
Margot Robbie doing that scene,
hey now.
I think Harley Quinn's also the only character I've ever seen that's a grown woman that can pull off the pigtails.
Yeah.
And not make it look terrible.
Well, that was I think Rocksteady Games could be attributed to that whole redesign. Like in Arkham Asylum, I think that was the first time we saw her outside of the Harley Quinn costume, and people went, "Good God, that's a sexy cheerleader."
Okay, it's important to note that Harley Quinn's design. Wait, don't you mean that? Here's the thing: Andrew Tate doesn't need clown face makeup. He's just a clown by his own self.
Escape the
yeah, definitely.
I'm sorry, that joke was too easy. That was slow hanging fruit right there.
Low hanging fruit can still be fun sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, to those of us who remember the character, I'm trying to remember the costume. And I'm trying to make sure I do this before you guys show the actual costume.
So, I wanted to note that it's important to remember that Harley Quinn from the Arkham games was based off of a different character.
Really?
Oh, there you go.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So she is like,
okay, two characters.
Look. Well, okay, yes, but like, just look at the her stuff and like, yes, it is very obvious. Like, by the way, this game is amazing, and I will be playing this for in October. I will be playing this on my channel for October, so just look at if you told me that was like a Harley Quinn cosplay, I would believe you.
Okay, so you want to pull up something of the original costume and see how close I got with the part I drew?
All right.
That's
I'm trying to see how close I got. I haven't seen it in years, so I'm trying to see how close I can remember.
That's Britney Spears as well, by the way. Remember that "Hit Me, Baby, One More Time" video?
Try 90s design as the search.
Yeah.
Oh, Harley. I thought we were talking about the Arkham version. But like,
I'm trying to draw her original design and remember the costume.
The skin tight
real quick though.
This
is her Arkham design. Like, let's just look at this. You can see the Jeanette in there.
Yep.
See, I don't mind that they adapted multiple styles to her. I didn't even mind them throwing a little bit of colors into it, but still sticking crazy stuff with the other stuff. It's the stories that bothered me, not the costumes with the modern stuff. Because Harley Quinn was crazy enough; she could try multiple styles of clown, and it would still feel like her.
Also, like, this is like nurse, like they're going for more
sexy
like
nurse.
Sorry,
All right.
every guy. Also, this some good cosplay. Sorry.
Well, I thought that was
right.
in game.
Maybe it's an unannounced game by Rocksteady.
And of course, keep the card here so you can see that I'm not tweaking it.
Okay, a different type of Harley.
That's the type I see all the time at Sturgis. All right, so go on a close up on her where you can see the face of the costume. Well, I think I'm pretty close there with it.
Yeah.
All right, let me. Oh wow, that is actually not bad.
For a quick sketch, I think I actually got it pretty close.
And that's from memory too.
So that tells you how much I do this character growing up.
Oh, fun fact. Did you know that that Suicide Squad is not the first live action Harley Quinn?
Nope, it's not.
Wait,
From the 90s with
early 2000s actually, but
was it the early? Yeah.
Oh my god,
yeah?
they're actually holy crap, they're actually paying homage to that?
Actually, that's
Wow.
pretty badass. Send me those pictures. I want to try to draw those too.
That
That's
Birds of
actually a
Prey
good
show is
combination
awesome.
of the sexy modern and the 90s. That's actually
this
really
was-
cool.
So it was this TV show.
Yeah,
Birds of-
it got canceled,
Okay,
but it was
that
really good. I
the
remember.
picture with the stars on it like that, send me that.
I
Totally, I want to use that in the design.
all right, which one do you want?
The one at the top where you can see the bosom a bit better. The first one. There.
All right. Let me.
I have to try that. That's so cool.
All right, let me just put up the. Let's see here.
The part that was getting me on trying to remember the costume was trying to remember exactly where the marks were on the sleeves and stuff.
Yeah.
Because the basic
Card suit.
splash here and the black and red split points are pretty easy to remember, honestly. But exactly which symbols were where on the costume was a moment to think, you know?
I
But
wonder
yeah,
if that
for
Birds
sure.
of Prey series is on Tubi or something. I gotta rewatch that.
It's probably somewhere. I imagine.
Yeah, that was
But
before
yeah.
like all of our shows got like bad. You know, like 90s bad is still a caliber above, or early 2000s bad is still better than like modern bad.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's only recently that they've been kind of pairing Batman with Harley. I think in the White Knight universe they got married.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Talia was a monster, and Selena was a narcissistic
It's toxic.
klepto.
It was toxic. It was a toxic relationship.
Yep.
Like that's why, like honestly, like what is it with like the cat-based characters and being in toxic relationship with the heroes? Like Black Cat is honestly Black Cat is like even more toxic than Catwoman because like Catwoman at least kind of legitimately cares about Batman, but like Black Cat, like part of her cares, but she cares more about the crime. You know, like I don't know.
My question about Black Cat is why is she called Black Cat? She doesn't like have any kind of. I don't know. Her costume
hair is
doesn't really scream Black Cat to me.
I mean,
Yeah.
it screams huge set of tits, but you know that's a different story altogether.
Yeah, everything's white. Like she's got white hair, white ears, white claws, gloves, boots, and the only thing.
Well, I've
that's
never
black
even
is, like,
seen her costume with ears. It's so weird. And even like in the animated series, which is my favorite iteration of Black Cat, I'm like, why the hell do you call yourself Black Cat? Not making much of an effort on the cat part.
Yeah.
To be fair on that argument too, I could see taking that character and redesigning it so it actually has the black stylized and trying to make it actually look Bombay with a bit of like deep black and some dark twisted expression in it and just add a little bit of stuff. I think would actually be more of a Black Cat, don't you?
I think it's more like just like the cat burglar. Okay. In Black Cat's defense, she had just learned that Spider-Man was like a young teenager.
Where does
Very
that
young.
fluid
It
come
was in
from?
the Ultimates universe, wasn't it?
I'm not sure, but like that's not entirely her fault. Like I'm not gonna Also,
She was being
Oh
a good
my God.
person.
okay, this might be one of the first look at this. This was one of the first instances of DC ripping off Marvel because it's usually the reverse.
Yeah.
But like, I can't believe it. They actually like the angles and everything.
Yep.
Actually, what's interesting is for a while Marvel was ripping DC off like mad. If you go back to the World War II era comics, they were both starting when they were new.
Mhm.
There was a lot of instances where DC was ripping off Stan Lee's designs back then. So
yeah,
there's
honestly,
a long history of it taking swings where for one generation it would be one stealing more, and then the next generation would be the other one stealing more. And
I mean, Wade Wilson, Slade Wilson.
Yeah.
Anybody?
Well, isn't that a joke? Like, didn't they do that intentionally? Like, Wade is really Slade's brother or something, or like didn't they do something about that?
True, but you know what I find hilarious?
What's that?
What's the guy who created Deadpool? What's his name? Rob Liefeld. He's going around now claiming that like Deadpool is not a ripoff of Deathstroke. He's trying to like claim that
What?
when like, yeah, I saw some Twitter posts where he was trying to claim that. I don't know if he was doing that tongue in cheek, which I wouldn't put it past Rob Liefeld to do that.
I mean, look, I may love Deadpool, but we know he's a ripoff, and we know they ripped off several people's costumes to create his too.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, it's an inverted
fuck's sake.
Spider-Man's.
Yes, and he's still hilarious, and I don't fucking care it's a ripoff, but it's a ripoff. You know?
The ultimate hilarity of Deadpool is he didn't really become the Deadpool we know until 10 years after he was created. Like the whole like Merc with a mouth didn't happen until like the late 90s, early 2000s.
He was a
It
serious.
was the best thing that ever happened to him.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the best thing that ever happened to freaking horrid character Captain Marvel was getting zapped by Rogue. But
I will say this.
Bitch slapped by Thanos can count in that list too, but still.
Also,
zapped by Rogue is better.
If I get word that in the post-credit scene for the Marvels, Anna Paquin appears, I might actually rush out and go see the Marvels.
Yeah, because we're all waiting for that moment.
Come on, I want to see it in live action. I want to see fucking Brie Larson zapped to the ground. I mean,
she's
sorry.
not watching Rogue as a good.
You know what the best part is? I guarantee you, Marvel knows about they know about that storyline. That's their exit strategy. Like when they want to ditch, like once the X-Men get going, I guarantee you that's gonna happen. Like Rogue is gonna get in a fight with Captain Marvel, and then like she's gonna zap his powers. Oh, Brie Larson's gone. But anyway,
with much rejoicing.
Yeah. Anyways.
I'm sorry, but like that echo just made it so much better.
Yeah.
Like the fact that like you're kind of far away, it's like, oh no, it's like someone in the background just saying that. Perfect comedic timing.
It was actually. Because it took me a moment to realize, no, that's him. He's just not at the mic as close as he was a minute ago.
So, getting it back to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, bringing it back to Harley though, kind of irks me that they're trying to make her the DC Universe's equivalent of Deadpool. Like, just if you're gonna make a Deadpool-like character, let it happen naturally. Don't try to force someone into the role.
I thought Ambush
never
Bug
works.
was DC's Deadpool. I thought that was Ambush Bug. I thought Ambush Bug was their Deadpool character.
John is not wrong.
Yes, that will be $1 billion movie.
Just the last 5
like,
minutes.
Just imagine the post-credit scene is maybe even not Anna Paquin, but like a woman appears. We have someone. She's quite the rogue.
Yeah. No, dude. The last 5 minutes of that film will be like the Zapruder film. It'll be back and to the left. Back and to the left. And it's just Rogue sucking the power out of Brie Larson.
And that will be the most watched last 5 minutes of any movie ever.
It's like, how did you wear out a DVD?
So, in other words, you'll do to that scene what I did to his death scene in Meet Joe Black. Just watch it over and over and over and over and over. Going, hey, fuck Brad Pitt. I mean,
it's like how every vintage copy of Fast Times at Ridgemont High, it's always glitches at that one moment.
Oof.
And you're no longer moving in stereo. It's mono, baby.
No. Or no.
Yeah. For all like anyone who knows about Fast Time at Ridgemont High, they know the exact moment I'm talking about.
Yes, Phoebe Cates, baby.
Yes. Yes. Anyway, so the thing about like Harley Quinn's voice that I find most interesting is how influential her vocal portrayal has been on all the other actors before that. Like, if you look at like the other actresses who have played Harley Quinn, they've all done like some sort of impression of Arleen. Like Tara Strong is basically just doing Arleen, but with like the Tara Strong version.
Yep.
Melissa Rauch, who plays it in Batman and Harley Quinn, is just doing Arleen Sorkin. Even like Kelly Kuko, who's basically just doing a normal voice, it kind of has like the vocal delivery in parts of Arleen Sorkin. Like,
yeah, but to be fair, that's because she's a crazy bitch.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, then she's perfect for Harley Quinn.
Yeah, she's not acting.
I'm sorry,
don't like
but
her
she,
vocal
she,
portrayal.
she's a
Acting.
case.
Well, I think it lost.
Wait, are you saying that
Betty Boop
Kaylee is
stuff.
Kuko? Is cuckoo?
Oh God!
If the name fits,
You just lost points for a dad joke.
Do you realize we're on my channel? Like, my channel was built off of dad jokes.
You're still losing points.
No, I just miss the original Betty Boop voice that Arleen gave it. It's that hey guys, you know, that like Brooklyn, like like nobody speaks like that anymore. Like cable television has eliminated that accent. But
Yeah, it's just basically like how you have like the standard BBC accent, and now you have like kind of like the standard American accent, which is basically just like the Midwestern accent, but a little bit more refined.
TV talk.
Like every now and then you'll see a Southern accent when they want a stupid redneck, and like you see Boston, like there's a lot of Boston accent.
Austin.
Oh, kid, I
Austin.
swear to God, no word of a lie. It's
Austin.
all over here.
I gotta say this. My favorite part about Bill Maher, not Bill Maher, but like what's the guy? The guy who was in The Mandalorian, the comedian.
Bill Barr?
Bill Barr. How
Bill Barr.
like he was in The Mandalorian,
And he still had the bus.
No. I remember watching a podcast. Like, where's he from? Space Boston? They're like, so it's like, yeah. There's literally
I'm
a
shooting
planet
TIE
in the Star
fighters.
Wars universe. There's literally a planet in the DC in the Star Wars universe just called Boston.
It looks just like the Boston album cover too. It's like neon designs as a giant guitar.
and their planet slogan is "More than a feeling."
Yes.
God.
I'm flying over here.
Hey! I'm shooting down TIE fighters over here. Watch where you're flying, buddy.
No, Chief. I'm in the zone.
Chief. Oh, he's force pushing over here. He ignited his lightsaber.
I'm glad I avoided that accent actually, because that's where I live. So.
Oh dear God.
Nobody's perfect. I mean,
Boston.
Dude, it's wicked hard.
The Emperor, he wants me to go on a stint in the Death Star.
Oh my
That
God.
thing is so rickety. I think it's gonna explode at any. Okay, I was like losing
Don't
the
kid, I know what
accent.
you're talking about, man. That Emperor, he's a badass. I'm gonna send him to the Packy someday. Get me a nice pack of marbles. God, it's so painful to hear that.
Oi, now they want to send me to Endor, that backwater planet, you know? Like, I
Got
got
Teddy
enough
Ruxpin's
woods back
there.
in Southie.
Yes. Bunch of little fur balls everywhere. It's wicked hard. You just want to kick their asses.
John, I am okay with that.
Yeah.
This literally would be great.
Also, like, I would love it if in the next Star Wars movie they just replace Darth Vader with Dennis Leary. Like, he takes off his helmet and it's just Dennis Leary.
And he's smoking a cigarette.
I could even tolerate a musical version then and have him do a Star Wars version of douchebag and asshole.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm an asshole. I'm an asshole.
Yo.
It goes out my exhaust port.
Oh my God.
Hey, SS, hey, Joe.
My grandmother had that song on her MP3 player.
One of the songs I listen to the most is actually Douchebag. So,
Yeah, Asshole is actually surprisingly a very catchy tune.
It is.
And books about.
I hum it at least once a day.
Well, you are an asshole, Nick, so it fits.
well, I mean, the song that I use on my nieces and nephews is "Life's Gonna Suck." So they'll start whining, and I'll go, "Life's gonna suck when you grow up. When you grow up. When you grow up." And my niece, when she was a teenager, started whining, and I started doing that. And my mom and dad joined in unison, and the three of us sang it to her, mocking her.
That sucks pretty bad
It's like Veda, quit going into the Padawan pool. They're not for you.
Yeah, those younglings aren't for you, dude. Okay, buddy.
Lord Veda, those Padawans, those younglings, they're for training, not for banging.
Oh my God, he's going for the jailbait again. Obi-Wan, you know what to do.
Put him down the shaft again. If you got to cut him in half like you did Maul, just go right ahead. It's gonna be a clean cut.
I'm a blast.
Oh my God, I love how this joke just evolved.
Oh
great. Luke's talking to that Mara Jade again. Oh my God.
You know, she's got 6 kids with like 5 different guys. It's wicked weird.
Oh, these continuities are driving me crazy.
I totally have to color this as soon as I can find those pencils. just in honor of her, I have to do this, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Another Jedi thinks they can be a Sith Lord. They're going to be dead in 5 minutes.
Yeah, until they're all hanging out in front of donkeys. You know what I mean?
Oh, we need to just go on and dude, pound some sense into him. Show him really what Southie's like.
Yeah, how do you like them apples?
Oh my God.
It's so painful.
It is so painful. Like last time, the Empire wanted information from me. They thought I was a Force user, so they brought in an Inquisitor, and then they got me on all fours, and the Inquisitor put a lightsaber up my butt. I pooped straight for a year.
You ever hear Toll Booth Willie?
Kyber crystals. I'm still shitting kyber crystals.
I'll tell you, man. You try to pass some of those, by God, does that hurt?
Oh, it's like, and it's like everyone in the whole fucking bathroom knows because that shit glows.
Yeah, that shit was echoing off the bowl and everything. Clink, clink, clink. Purple ones. It looked like Taste of Rainbow coming out of my ass.
Oh, the Empire. Oh, the Jedi. The freaking scum. I hope they order 66 them. I'm about to. If you don't shut up, I'm going to order 69 of you.
Yeah, that's right. You go down the turnpike. You take a left at the Roxbury exit, and bam, you're right in order 66. Oh my God, it's awful down there.
Nothing but a bunch of queers and steers.
Oh my God. I think we just destroyed whatever's left of Massachusetts.
Oh my God. That was like that had to have been probably like one of the best bits I've ever done.
Oh, did you ever hear Toll Booth Willie? Adam Sandler's
Tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Yeah, those two were combined.
Oh, dear God. Okay, I know the perfect way to end the bit. All right. Okay. I'm just looking it up. All right. All right. Let's see here. Oh my God. I'm looking for
meeting the high school Spanish teacher.
All right. Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? I thought not. It's a story the Jedi wouldn't tell you. It's a Sith legend. Darth Plagueis, he was a Dark Lord of the Sith. So powerful and so wise. He could use the Force to influence the midichlorians, create life. He had such a knowledge of the dark side. He could even keep the ones he cared about from dying. just like my Aunt Jemima. Wow.
Yeah, no word of a lie. I swear to God.
Yeah, I swear, I heard it from my mama, and my mama wouldn't lie. He could actually save people from death. You know that they just call that meth. You know that they call that just meth, right?
I swear to you on my open cup of coffee.
The dark side. It's a force. The force is a pathway to many abilities. Some continue to be unnatural, just like my aunt Sheila Tits.
Yeah, ain't nothing natural about that broad.
Nah, ain't nothing natural. The force isn't the only thing keeping those things up. I hate myself so much right now.
She's got two Imperial Walkers holding up them boulders.
He became so powerful. The only thing he was afraid of was losing his power. So he's a politician then. Which eventually, of course, he did. Okay, so he is a politician. Unfortunately, he taught his apprentice everything he knew. Should have kept a lid on that shit, I tell you what. Then his apprentice killed him in his sleep. What the frick? It's ironic. He can save others from death, but not from himself. Yeah, that's what meth will do to you. Is it possible to learn this power? Not from a Jedi!
Jesus.
What the fuck did I just do?
I don't know, but I think
I don't know. My brain
went
checked out about halfway through your tirade. It's like, what the crap?
Also, John, oh my god. Why are you standing in front of the line? Why are you in my vision? I'm trying to do like the Terminator thing. All right. So here's a question for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
What are your favorite Harley Quinn moments?
Easily, hands down for me, was the one where she got the jump on Batman, and he proved why Joker was a piece of shit. Because she's like, I don't like it. I've never seen bats laugh before. this ain't night. You know, basically he's like, let me guess. He told you some sob story about like how he was at the baseball game or whatever. She's like, he said it was the circus. You know, it was like, yep. He knew exactly what kind of a scumbag Joker was to Harley. And she even got abused because she used Joker's plan, to get Batman. It's on.
Nope.
Yeah, the audio didn't come in.
All right, I think I did it wrong. Let's see here. Harley Quinn goes shopping. I love that joke. Yes.
First time I heard that, I thought she said "bitch boy."
That's what it sounds like.
Also,
I want to see how little it took to drive her insane.
Yeah,
I love how like Bruce, like obviously he knows that's Harley, and like he's trying to do the right thing because like he you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because this version of Bruce Wayne is an absolute
out of style. What I love about that is like literally that is like kind of like a classic style. Like you could wear that today and you'd be fashionable.
That's how timeless the animated series was. Like, look at the automobile in the background. That's like a 1940s car.
Yeah, like that's you know.
There's like no time you can put to the show.
Yeah, they did a really good job with that.
Yeah.
the best version of all the characters.
And yeah.
I like it too because you can. Kevin Conroy does a great job with both Bruce's voice and as Batman. You can tell, like, without doing the stupid Christian Bale gargling on glass voice, you can tell that they're, like, we as the audience can tell they're the same person, but they sound so different.
Yeah. Yeah, the Christian Bale gravelly voice was like 12 packs of Marlboro too much, or too many. Because he's like, Joker, you gotta kill me. Was that like a
yeah? I sit there and say, you know what? Now that whole Christian Bale stuff, there's actually one I like much, and it wasn't because of him. I mean,
yeah.
Also, like Arleen does. Oh, sorry.
No, but I wasn't saying anything yet. I was just straightening out.
Right. What I love about Batman series is just like the small moments. Like it kind of feels like a community. Like just the fact that like you have a show
Very
and then like
humanizing.
Poison Ivy's just standing in there in the background just for no reason other than it's Arkham, so she'd probably be there. Like I love those little tiny crossovers. Also, what I love about this moment is Harley Quinn because she realizes, oh, this is my moment, and she just goes for it.
Yeah.
There's also another episode where I can't remember what was happening in it, but I remember one moment where Scarecrow's screaming his ass off, and Harley's just there. She's like, "Hey, Dr. Crane." He's like, "Oh, hello, my dear."
Yeah. Man. Well, the animated series is... I don't think there's been anything close to touching it. Like, I love the Arkham series for games, and I love the animated movies. But the animated series, it's by far... Like, do you remember that episode where there was that villain who was, like, an actress who was trapped forever in, like, a little girl's body?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, heartbreaking.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a kid's show.
Yeah, that was deep.
Also, you got to remember, Batman the Animated Series made Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze was a joke villain until this. Like, you want to know how quickly that origin story catched on? Not even 4 years later, they used that origin story for Batman and Robin.
Wow.
And make the worst Batman movie ever made.
Yeah, everybody do.
But points for them using the animated series. Like, it actually kind of made his character...
I mean, as much as people harp on the movies in the 90s, I give them both points for some things. And I will criticize a lot of the... I actually will, too. I have issues with parts of it, but I think the biggest reason it failed to a lot of people is the over-the-top 90s neon and cheese that was added to it.
I think Forever struck a decent balance. Also, # release the Schumacher cut. Because, like, I feel like Forever still kind of had a little bit of the dark, like the Burton dark.
Kilmer had the spirit. He understood the character well because he's enough of a chameleon. He could do both characters more than most other actors.
Yeah, I think Clooney was a decent Bruce Wayne, but he was not a good Batman.
He was a god awful cringy Batman, and the only reason he was good at being Bruce is because he's a flaming douchebag and egomaniac. I mean,
yeah. Well, did you ever see the I Val movie? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead, Chris.
Well, so yeah, Val Kilmer is an amazing actor. I realize now he's got medical stuff that took him out of the game, and I think he's gone. Look
at his.
Last I knew, he was still around. He just isn't acting.
Yeah.
Look at like his performance in Maverick. Like that guy. Like how much of a handicap that guy had, and he still put out probably one of the best performances in the movie.
But there was a whole segment about how heartbroken he was, kind of like the Ian McKellen scene where he was dressed up as Gandalf, and he's like, I played to full houses in Cambridge and stuff, and now I'm acting to a green screen and a tennis ball. Well, when Val Kilmer was on the set in the Batman film, the costume was so restrictive. He's like, at this point, you could have put anybody in that suit, and because like it was basically like he couldn't turn his head, they couldn't see his eyes, his mouth was bare. He's like, this is what I became the role. I researched, I did all the stuff that a good actor does, and they never used it because it was all about like, let's just put merchandising in it, and it was like really heartbreaking to hear that.
That's the thing that like those three actors who played it in the 90s is they basically equated the Batman suit to going into a coffin.
Yep.
Yeah. One of the things I give, and Val Kilmer to me is actually one of the greats, and I remember everybody talks about Tombstone, and good movie. I remember Thunderheart because it dealt directly with my family and with the tribe and the stuff that my mom went through with the AIM riots and that stuff. I mean, and the thing is that Val Kilmer loved his characters enough. He is part of his sanity issues, part of his medical issues came from the fact that he lived his characters. He believed in them to the point where he would actually start believing he was them. He was dedicated to a level that most people aren't. Let's out of this group, how many people here are actually Psych fans? And there's a reason I'm saying this.
Before we switch topics,
it's that you could feel the emotion of that character in it. Most boisterous I really knew him as was Mad Mardigan. Most of the time, he was very subtle in his characters, and you could feel the emotion of each moment of each character.
I
And
could
that's
hear a
something that I feel
Conroy
like
in
it-
there too. Sorry.
And that's something I feel like. No, we're not going there. We're not going back there. We are not going back to Space Boston. We are not going back there. Also, I just realized I have created a bit for my show, so we're
Space
not
Boston.
going back to Space. Yes, we're not going back to Space Boston today. Maybe on the Friday Night Frenzy we'll go to Space Boston, but not more anymore.
But the one thing I wanted to say on that, the reason I brought up Psych was because during that show they talked about Kilmer constantly and his obsession with Kilmer in the 80s and 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And Kilmer actually had a restraining order against the star during that series because he freaked out on him as a fan when he met him right when it was starting and scared him so bad he didn't want to get near him.
Oh, damn.
And the way that he told him that he forgave him and was sorry for getting the restraining order was he showed up in the days of filming for the final episode and offered to do a walk-on for him. So he literally showed up on set and hugged him.
Wow.
And he's in the final episode.
Oh, nice.
So, I mean, you got to give him that credit. He was willing to admit, I overreacted. I'm sorry, and make amends to somebody. That shows some class, you know?
Yeah, honestly, you really don't get the kind of caliber of actors that like Val Kilmer was. I mean, nowadays we get the Rachel Zeglers of the world.
Kilmer was amazing for his era. I mean, there's greats that I absolutely will love for all time. Lugosi and Christopher Lee, obviously. Val Kilmer.
Patrick Swayze.
Cary Elwes. Patrick Swayze has some. He wasn't as much in the stuff I was into, but he had that star quality. Even though he was a flaming egomaniac, Cary Grant had that star quality. And Arsenic and Old Lace is amazing. There's actors that just transcend because you feel them so much in their characters.
Carrie Fisher, while he's very opinionated, like he does care.
Mm-hmm.
Like
she did, absolutely. And that was
Ed
leading
Cons,
back to this.
You could
Because you
often
felt her so much.
Yeah, like at cons, you could actually track where Carrie Fisher was at a con just by the Instagram post. They're like, oh my God, Carrie Fisher just bought my stuff. You know, you could actually track her through the cons because like she'd go to the event. Like, I swear, if Carrie Fisher showed at my booth and bought Screecher, that would be like the biggest thing ever. Like, oh my God.
I mean, I miss her. All things aside, I may not have agreed with her on everything, but she was a hell of a talent and a sweetheart. And I wish we still had her around.
The thing about Carrie Fisher that I feel like really doesn't go unappreciated, like, okay, she's Princess Leia. She's a good actress. She's funny. But she was a hell of a writer. Like, she had a career as a script doctor. Like, she even did script doctoring work on Phantom Menace. Even she couldn't polish that turd.
Oh, hey, I like 5 minutes. Let's not go that far.
Oh, God. What is this Phantom Menace? There's only been 3 Star Wars movies.
Are you an angel?
Yeah.
Look, I mean, I will say the original trilogy is still the best, but the prequels, while they had issues, they still at least had the heart, which the stuff after didn't.
They had heart and charm.
No, I greatly disliked the prequels, but I never left the theater offended or angry by them. Disney's sequel trilogy was so bad that I was actually angry that I felt like time was stolen from me.
There was one thing that absolutely killed me on the prequels, and it wasn't even dying of a broken heart, because that actually does happen in real life. There wasn't even that. What pissed me off the most is that when he told her that he massacred the Sand People, including the women and children, because the whole race is animals and stuff like that, she's like hugging him, trying to cheer him up. But it was a bridge too far to kill the Jedi kids, because those kids were human to her.
Why did she call them? Why do you call them children, but then younglings?
I don't. It was weird from the beginning, and the other problem I have with that whole thing is they talked about it. They said through the original trilogy, if you raise your weapon in anger, you become dark side. Then you'll start heading down a path and become it decade later. So he would have been dark as hell the second he massacred a group of people, including innocent people.
Well, the path to evil is not a light switch. It is often it's a mile long trail.
It's not, but they really screwed up the continuity of how they designed the Force in that.
Well, they screwed up the continent. Like the heel turn on a dime in was it Revenge of the Sith? We actually heard laughs in the theater when that happened.
Like, and the fact that like he immediately regretted it, like you had the scene with the tear, that just made it even more stupid. Like a better writer would have just like kind of had it be like a moment of weakness where like he did it without really thinking of the consequences, and then once he actually had time to think about it, like I think that's what George Lucas was trying to do.
Yeah,
but
trying.
and that's the thing about the prequels, and that is the thing. Love them or hate them, you can at least acknowledge George Lucas was trying. He was trying to tell an original story. He was trying to tell a good story. The problem with the problem with the sequels, the sequel trilogy, is
there's no heart. There's no
they're a product. They're a product.
Yeah.
And honestly, all these people who were so willing to give it a chance at Force Awakens, the moment I saw him walk in with that stupid lightsaber and light it, I started laughing so hard I fell out of my seat because I spent my life studying fencing and sword fighting. You don't build a hilt out of the weapon.
Yeah, I know. It's like the moment that thing gets pressed up against him, it'll go right through his chest.
Or his fingers,
I think they're trying to make it more like a broadsword, like a long sword kind of thing.
I got what they were trying to do, but it was a dumb as fuck idea.
Yeah,
we get what they were going for, but it was executed horribly.
Well, I watch Kylo Ren fighting. He fights more like an English longswordsman.
Oh yeah, I know. I give that absolute credit.
Yeah, because like lightsaber battles are kind of more Japanese as with their fighting style. Kendo.
You gotta realize I've spent my life studying both in this regards. This is one of the few things I will kind of say I'm more expert in, because I've spent my whole life studying all of these different types of sword fighting. I've collected them. I literally injured my lip when I was like 6 because me and my sister were trying to recreate the cliff scene with fucking tent poles. Think Princess Bride. So
inconceivable.
We were trying to recreate the cliff scene sword fight.
I am left-handed.
That should tell you what kind of kids we were. So sword fighting, if sword fighting's really bad in a movie, I can't forgive it because I cannot get back into the moment. It's gone, you know?
Did you ever see Rob Roy with Liam Neeson?
Don't think so, actually.
There's a scene where, because Rob Roy is a Scottish folk hero, you know. And,
I know the name and character. I just didn't actually realize there was a movie. But
yeah, Liam Neeson's a giant, so he's this big, like oafish, like big dude, and he has this claymore, and he gets challenged to a duel by a English aristocrat with a rapier, or actually, it wasn't even a rapier; it was like a proto rapier. I can't remember what they call it, like a side sword or whatever. And he's doing his
foil.
A foil's for sport fencing, but for like actual legit, I think it's called a side sword. But
I think that's right, but I'd have to see it to verify that's what it actually is.
Well, he was doing his stuff, and he ends up like cutting up Rob Roy pretty well, and then Liam Neeson just went, fuck this, and he just brute forced the guy, and it was like watching a Viking taking out an Anglo-Saxon monk. And
that is how those weapons were used. You would brute force over people who had agility, because one blow would shatter their weapon and kill them.
Yeah, one of the Highland Games up here in New Hampshire, I got a big, long dissertation from House Macduff, one of the guys there that had his tent set up, and their clan Macduff was there, and they were talking about claymores because they had like legit, actual heirloom claymores instead of replicas or modern ones. And the first thing that I remarked on was how incredibly blunt the blade was until it got to the tip. And he's like, "Oh, that's intentional." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, because the blade edge itself in the center all the way to the ricasso, which is that second hilt after the quillion or the grip, the crossguard, is designed to break into or break through like weaker armor or clothing or whatever, and then it could break a bone, and then they'll pull the blade along like toward themselves or along, and by the time it gets to the end of the blade, there's like razor edge there, so you like hack into somebody and then you slide it across, and it's like, oh, that's disgusting." It's like, that's Highlanders.
No, you've got to study old sword fighting. It was a brutal, sadistic war.
So I guess you could say, I guess you could say the dude really rewrote history.
But I was gonna say with this is there's a few females I think really go down in history with the characters they played either were them, but also they embodied everything they did so well and were so beloved, or they just genuinely had that personality that people were drawn to. And, people like Lucille Ball, Nichelle Nichols, and Judy Garland, Eartha Kitt, Farrah Fawcett, and them, these women who are special for generations
Michelle
to
Pfeiffer.
So many. June Foray, for fuck's sakes, almost every female character that was in cartoons for like 60 years was her.
Yeah.
I mean, people who absolutely impacted acting as women and really made a difference in that culture and that society. And I do think she is one of them because she made such a difference to women understanding psychology and comics and stuff like that, and getting a lot of girls who weren't interested in it interested in learning about these things that they didn't understand before, and helping us go past what the old stereotypes and learn about these deeper thoughts. And also, I know so many people who used her character as warnings to help people get out of abusive relationships and other shit. She made a difference.
Yeah, because I feel like one of the good things about the Harley Quinn dynamic is it showed a lot of really young girls what gaslighting looks like, what Stockholm syndrome, like a lot of the
battered spouse,
definitely syndrome, and I think I would not be surprised if Harley Quinn's character helped a lot of young girls and young ladies, young women recognize that they were in a bad relationship and got them out. Like, I would not be surprised if Harley Quinn has saved lives. I would not be surprised.
I've used scenes from that show and things from some of the early comics they started doing with her to help some of the girls I've been trying to get out of abusive stuff in the outreach I do. So I know it has. So that's why I said I think she's made a difference, because she helped create such a life to a character that had so much depth to help people understand something that most people in society, male and female, didn't understand.
And that's
that
why
it's not just somebody not giving an effort when they don't get out of these relationships. There's a psychology behind it, and it's not their fault, but you have to help them see it.
Yeah, that's why I believe her character has such an enduring and powerful legacy. Is also, hey Anthony, how you doing? Is basically Harley Quinn, for many people, both women and men, is a source of strength, is a source of inspiration. Like how many young boys they see, oh, Superman, he like Spider-Man, he beat up his bullies, I can do that too, and that's great, like Spider-Man inspired those people. Whereas his Harley Quinn, she's like, oh, she said F you to the Joker, she got out of her abusive relationship, I can do that too.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the comics they did of them, when they really went into that relationship, how it started, how they got to each other, and how they finally ended, are horror show comics. And ones we could see both of them absolutely playing psychological games on each other, randomly just hitting and assaulting each other and shit. And it's like horror show. The embodiment of red flag, don't be this.
Also,
the one that scares me is the women who idolize the relationship, and I was
just about to.
Oh God,
Rose, you literally read my mind, because I was literally just about to bring that up. So thank you. It's like, yeah, you see this all the time on like Facebook and Twitter, where it's like, I want the Joker to my Harley, so you want someone to physically abuse you. And I'm going to be perfectly blunt.
Psychologically abuse, torture, mutilate, all that stuff. He was horror showing those.
I'm going to make my stance on this perfectly blunt. I'm going to take my side. I find the act, not the people, the act of romanticizing Joker and Harley Quinn, the act of it, I'm making perfectly clear my wordage here, the act of romanticizing it, freaking disgusting.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying the people are, because I don't want to be taken out of context here, but I'm saying the act of doing it is disgusting. And
some of them are misguided, some are disgusting.
That's why I'm trying to make it perfectly clear.
Yeah.
I'm looking down at the act, not the person.
Yeah. But when you say that, it's the same way that all these girls romanticize not true alternate sexual lifestyles, but the Hollywood versions of them. Crap like Twilight and 50 Shades and stuff, because they think that abusive crap is real romance, and it's not.
Also, the amount of women I've met Also, the amount of women I've met who simp for serial killers is downright frightening.
Oh, it is.
It is.
There
It's a
is
mental illness.
actually a psychology behind it, and there's the same psychology that actually, if you're being fully honest, there's a larger percent of women who actually do have fetishes of being abused and sexually assaulted than we like to admit as a society. And it goes back psychologically to the hunter-gatherer days and some of that stuff, but it's something we have to start realizing and breaking the cycle of.
Or at least expressing those feelings in a healthy manner.
Yeah.
Can
Consensual
I
stuff with somebody who's not going to actually hurt you.
Because honestly, any kink, as long as it's done in a healthy manner, is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Healthy and safe, I should add. But yeah.
Can I just say too that I'm very back, especially when we had the first Suicide Squad movie coming out, a lot of places like Hot Topic and what have you would sell Harley and Joker couples items.
Yep.
And I just want to say,
creepy.
I don't like those people who would who made and sell those kinds of things. Because no,
they were profiteering off of that psychology and encouraging those kinds of relationships.
Exactly. Please, no. Oh God, what the hell?
Bonnie and Clyde. What was that? Natural Born Killers there with Woody Harrelson and Juliette Lewis.
I've been in that kind of relationship. You don't want this, people. And it is so easy to be so convinced that it's your fault by all the mind games.
Rose, question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say the female attraction to serial killers is similar to the guy's "I can fix her" mentality?
A large degree, yes. There's we all know the phrase. We all know the phrase, don't stick your dick in crazy and don't date a woman that's insane and all that stuff. The other side is the same flip side of the coin, or what, as go back to early No Doubt days, what she said, why do the good girls always want the bad boys? There is that thing. It's either you think you can fix them or you want somebody who's troubled because look at how deep they are. And the thing is that troubled doesn't mean deep. Troubled can be deep if it actually made them take steps to grow and learn or understand why they've been through that stuff, but it doesn't automatically mean it. And that's the danger we have in society, is people assuming it does.
Yeah, and getting back to talking about relationship dynamics, that's something that a lot of guys struggle with, is oh, I'm a good man, why is she dating the bad boy? This person, why is she literally guys do all this stuff, and these women keep picking the bad boys, and it leaves the guys perplexed. My
life until I married him, I dated every really good looking sucking asshole that I swear existed, and I ended up with the nerd that was my best friend. But my life, I kept going out with every wrong guy, which is why I look at a couple of the guys that I go, you're so wrong for me that if I wasn't married, I would have gone after you.
Do you know how insulting that is for a guy to hear that?
I don't say it literally to them.
But guys hear that all the time. And ladies, if you for the ladies hearing that, please don't say that. If you want to think it,
I wouldn't actually say it to them. No, but I'm
not saying you, but I'm saying other ladies.
It's a psychological thing.
I've literally had ladies say exactly to that thing to me on multiple occasions. So,
wow, I would never be. I have no filter here. I have spasms and tics and have trouble not speaking sometimes when I'm not supposed to. We're all aware of that because we all know I have problems stopping sometimes. Nobody's given a secret here. I wouldn't say that to a guy. I'd be biting into my tongue before I would let that come out my lip.
Well, not everyone is as good of a person as you are. So
I wouldn't necessarily say I'm that good of a person considering some of the shit I've done.
Well, I am. So, Rose, you are a good person. I'm saying that.
But it's I get it, and I don't. I did that cycle. I did that whole, the worse he was to me, the more I wanted him to love me shit. And it's so horrible. That also.
Venkman's fan site. As a guy, yeah, that's something that a lot of men need to do. Kind of that's something like I've been trying to get better at myself. If I were to say, I think it comes from a place of insecurity, and I'm calling myself out on this, where we fear that if we show you who we really are right away, you'll get scared. And yeah, I think it comes from a place of insecurity. And yes, I am calling myself insecure on this. I'm just being honest. So, yeah,
But
that's just my own personal take.
this character means so much to so many male and female who fall into these psychological cycles. Most of these psychological cycles all date back to primitive instincts, date back to how we had to survive, how we had to adapt. That's why the psychological cycles vary depending on the ethnicity and culture. They do. Because it's how you had to adapt as a people to survive. And denying those issues, denying that science does not make it go away. It just makes it harder for us to keep people from falling into those traps.
Yeah, it's really tough.
This opened the conversation. In the 90s, when almost nobody would talk about it, she opened the conversation.
Yeah, a lot of conversations were open. I definitely feel like Harley Quinn definitely contributed to a lot of it. But like, if you look at the history of like mental health and how we treated it, it wasn't really until the 90s that things like the conversation started to happen. I'm not saying everything's perfect now, but it's a heck of a lot better than what it was during even like as far up as the 80s. Like the mentality was, oh, mental health, let's just bury you in a mental institution. We'll never see you for the rest of your life.
The other issue I have today that we're getting worse in, unfortunately, and we need to stop is espousing every evil act to mental illness, because it's not. People can willingly choose to be evil, and being mentally ill does not mean somebody's evil or will do those things.
Yeah, that's a modern day of like, oh, everything's a syndrome. I know, like, I remember when I was a teenager, I remember some people had like oppositional defiant disorder, aka they wouldn't listen to their parents, kind of crap like that,
I'm sorry, but we're diminishing what evil is if we try to give them an excuse. And it's also dehumanizing people who have legitimate issues, who are just people trying to get by and survive, who are not bad people.
Yeah, the mental health conversation, we've made strides, but there are light years still left to go. Like, a lot of it is still, disability is still like, oh, you don't look disabled. And if you don't look disabled, people expect you to act like, okay, so I'm autistic and I'm bipolar. All right. I got a few other things, but but those are things. So I try my best to be a normal person, but I'm not. The problem is people, because I'm high functioning autism. Let me just mute him real quick. Okay.
Yeah.
But because I'm high functioning, and I can act somewhat normal, people expect me to be like 100%, and they get mad at me when I don't act normal. For example, let's say, hey, could you go and find the salt? It's on the shelf. I could go to the shelf. The salt could literally be right here, and I could just not even see it. I could be looking and looking and looking, and like the salt is literally like right here. Like, this is the salt.
That sounds like my husband. I mean,
like, this is the salt, and it's like this is the salt right here, and I just don't even see it. Like, it doesn't even exist. And people get mad at me because, like, what are you talking about? It was literally right there, and it's
That's
like, I'm
happened to me
trying.
so many times.
well, and you say that, and I have had so many people, and I have a lot of medical issues, and some of them are very, very weird and very severe. I deal with seizure damage, nerve conditions, Parkinson's, muscular dystrophy, and stuff. And I get told constantly I'm faking that I don't really have these tics. I'm faking the tics. I don't really have these spasms. I never really had seizures because I'm fine most of the time. Because unless they flare, I function normally to what the untrained eye of other people sees. That doesn't mean that I'm fine. It doesn't even mean that I'm physically functional. I'm walking through a store and I look fine and I'm talking to my husband. I'm in pain. Trust me, I'm in pain. And this attitude that unless somebody's like on crutches or in a wheelchair, they're treated like it's a fake illness is really, really toxic and really damaging.
You said it right on yourself. It's toxic. And also the other thing is, and this is me calling out the American mental health industry. This is particularly just American. So, like, people in Canada, or whatever.
Oh no, if you're in Canada, you get told to kill yourself. So
The fact that I know you're not lying.
Yes,
shows
not
how
lying. I've seen the ads. I've seen the
fact
ads, man.
I have two, and
It's the only ones with white people in them.
Okay, what were you getting at?
I'm sorry, just Nix and Chris talk about like they're both right. But anyway, see the problem. Hey Jared, how you doing, man? Hey, if you want to come on in here, you're welcome to. Just let me know. I'll drop you the link. Yeah, but yes, thank you, Peter Bakerman fan site. The problem with mental health in America is, and I have I've been in the mental health system literally all my life. I've been in and out of mental hospitals, both as a child and as an adult. So I think I speak with some authority here. The problem is it's kind of wrapped up in a victimhood complex. Like just to give an example, I don't suffer from autism. I have autism. Like you see like the difference in those word choices.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have autism.
Yeah.
That is an indisputable fact. I do not suffer from it. I can choose to suffer from it, but I have it. That is undeniable. And the problem is, I just feel like a lot of the American mental health system is like based off of treatment, but not rehabilitation. Like, sure, they'll get you like some sort of stable, and their version of stable is just shoving some pills down your throat so you're walking zombie. But like the American health system is not really good.
They're not interested in helping you learn to deal with it and actually love yourself. They're interested in keeping you sedated so you don't annoy other people.
Exactly. Like I'm lucky that I've met some good people. I have kind of the fire inside of me to get myself done, but like not everyone's so lucky to have like those personality quirks. And there needs to be like how many masterpieces have we missed out upon? Because like the artists, which by the way, artists are very like mental health and art does go hand in hand. It's like how many
yes, and genius and insanity go hand in hand. It's not actually a lie. There is an arc where the higher up the IQ scale you go, the more common a lot of these mental illnesses are. Yes. It follows hand in hand. There's actually a direct correlation.
There is.
And I think it's because our brains have a limited amount of function. When too much of it goes to one type of intelligence, it starts pulling it from others. Because we can't operate our brains at more than so much percent at any given time.
I think it's that. Then it's also like the lower on the IQ scale you are, the less of the world you perceive and the less you care about it. Versus like a smarter person, they see all the intricacies of the world, and it's kind of disheartening for them.
And the more you see, the more you're seeing other things that go beyond now, the harder it is to see what's right in front of you. And that is also true.
That's where the phrase ignorance is bliss comes from, really. That's like the purest expression of that phrase, where ignorance, not being ignorant. I'm kind of dichotomy there. Ignorance of the world.
Slight difference.
Yes. Ignorance is an action. I'm trying to think like ignorance is an action. Ignorant is a state of being. Sorry, I was getting a little academic on you there. I'm sorry, I just lost my entire train of thought. So
no, I mean it's really important that, and it has to come into this conversation because this character really helped open some of these conversations and doors. And that's why I think it's important we have some of this conversation in regards to remembering her and the character. Because it was a part of what she did. It's a part of what she helped affect in society, where we could at least start admitting to some people that we do have these issues. The problem also is that because we have, as you said, this culture that's designed to tell everybody, we're a victim, you should do things for me. That's what's led to the people who write every illness and every condition claiming they have it as a trend, which makes it harder for those of us who actually have them to be taken seriously. The same way when people fake cultural stuff, fake Indians, people like me who are legitimately pale and minorities and stuff, we're the ones that suffer for that. The people who actually have
a lot of different trenders that I don't really think we should be getting into right now.
Yeah.
No, that was all I was saying, is that when people ride these trends, because the mental illness system is designed to play victimhood, it's hurting the people who are actually going through them.
Yeah.
Faking things hurts actual victims.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure that's part of it too, where it's like you have a person who wants to be empathetic to people, but when they see like 4 people faking an illness and they meet the 5th person who actually has one, they're going to be a lot more reserved. It's just natural.
Yeah.
So that is
And
definitely
it's unfortunate. So the characters started things that we need to continue, and the conversations and making more people aware of Stockholm and battered spouse and all that. And that is one place where I will agree with the PC change they did recently. I'm glad it's not about battered wife, it's battered spouse anymore, because it at least acknowledges that men go through it too.
Well, yeah, there's still a lot of fight need to be done on that ground, but yeah.
Oh no, there's a massive fight to do on that ground, but that's one where I will agree with them changing the name, because it actually helped to show that it's not just women.
Yeah. I mean, just
we
imagine,
need that fight. We need more fight for the guys.
How long ago was it still legal that if you had sex with your wife without her consent, it wasn't considered rape?
Actually, the laws to actually redefine that were passed in the 80s.
Well, in the UK, it's,
wow.
Women can still not technically rape men.
Yeah. Actually, I know guys in England who've been violently sexually assaulted and raped who their abusers got almost no punishment, because under their legal system, it is defined as physically impossible for women to rape men.
Yep, rape by penetration. That's the only.
I mean, just look at
which it still is. They're forcing somebody to penetrate instead. It still is rape by penetration. That's what they don't get.
Or like, how many stories have we heard where a guy is passed out drunk at a party, a woman gets fluffs him, she has sex with him, and he's knocked out unconscious, gets her pregnant, and then the guy's unhooked for child support. Like, he was literally raped.
Was a case that almost actually, because I dealt with the lawyers that were involved with it and stuff, that was actually down in Arizona a while back, where the teacher who sexually assaulted her 14-year-old student not only got to keep the kid she forced him to impregnate her with, but they were forcing him to pay for all the medical and child support and stuff while she had this kid to abuse.
Yep. Well,
he was 14 when she did it to him.
If both parties are inebriated and under the influence, the man will be charged with rape.
Which absolutely pisses me off. It is absolutely trying to infantilize women and say that we can't make decisions on our own.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at the reaction that you see when a teacher sleeps with a student. If it's a male teacher, fire and brimstone, hang them.
Okay, if it's a female teacher, they shame the male student for coming forward for help.
Yeah.
Or it's like, oh, look at how romantic it is, Or
it's lucky kid. Oh, I wish I had teachers like that.
Or you go to these threads and they literally start threatening
Tone
him.
Tone it down. Like,
they reword it in the news. Like when it's a male perpetrator, it's a rape. It's was sexually assaulted. But when it's a female teacher that does it, it's a relationship.
The one that was getting to me, and I've seen this so many times, and that's why I kind of yelled a little bit with agreement with her in that rage on that. I've seen this so many times where students anywhere from the age of 10 to 14 come forward as males who have been sexually abused by their teachers. And literally the first thing you see is a bunch of men threatening him and saying, look, you ruined it for other boys. Look, you know you wanted it and shit like that. It's like, you degenerate pieces of shit.
Monsters.
Here's the thing. Yes, young boys fantasize about the hot teacher. Yeah, that happens.
Got news for you. Young girls fantasize about the hot teacher too. Most of these girls who end up with their teachers went into it willingly. They're still underage. It's still a crime.
They're minors.
Regardless.
They can't consent.
Look,
I will say
I went to my ex willingly. It was still a crime when he started doing shit.
I will say, as far as the male student, female teacher, American media does have a lot of that to blame. Like songs like Hot for Teacher, or how many shows have had the male student with the hot teacher. Riverdale, anybody? That one was a little more they kind of said yeah, this was messed up. The one with the Archie Miss Grundy, that it's they like very much categorize her as an abuser. So I'll give them a little bit of credit. Like, yeah, it was like they sexualized it, but they did show her as clearly an abuser. So I'll give them some credit for that.
To get half a point.
Half a point. But then you have like other songs and like other videos about like the fantasizing about a hot teacher. So I will lay some of the blame on American media.
To be fair, some of those things that you're talking about actually originate in England. So it's actually British media too.
You ever remember the song by The Police, Don't Stand Too Close to Me? Because Gordon Sumner there, Sting, was actually a teacher. That's where he got his name. And he had a young student come onto him and stuff, and he got accused of sexual misconduct.
That song was pretty popular for a minute during COVID.
Don't stand too close to you.
One of the instances where like people just paid attention to the chorus and not the rest of the song.
Well, it's like every breath you take, everybody's like, "Oh, I played that at my wedding." It's like that song's about a stalker. That's not a happy song.
Well, it's
not
like
the song you think it is.
And by the way, there's a lot of people.
You know what the perfect wedding song is?
What's that?
The Freshman by the Verve Pipe.
No. Dude looks like a lady.
The wedding.
No. Like, you know what The Freshman is about?
Yes.
It's about abortion. So, like, by the way, I love that song. Like, that's actually my favorite.
Yeah, it wasn't just about that. It was actually about one of them committing suicide from the grief of doing it too.
Yeah, like I love that song.
It didn't romanticize abortion. It showed the darkness in both sides of it, getting it and not getting it, and what it can lead to people with.
Yeah, like I call that song hauntingly beautiful, and I love that like the entire thing is done in metaphor. Like you actually kind of got to actually listen to the song to know exactly what they're talking about, because like they got like a layer of abstraction, you know, stopping baby's breath in a shoe full of rice. Like at the surface you don't know what that is, but it's like stopping baby's breath, abortion, shoe full of rice, the wedding, you know.
It was one of my favorite songs. It was one of my favorite songs for a long time. Still is when I listen to.
Yeah,
because it does humanize both sides of that too.
By the way, the Verve Pipe, they're a Michigan band. By the way, just want to shout that out.
Oh, nice.
Well, good. That's good. I don't know. It's just things are improving, but really not fast enough, honestly.
Things have improved in some ways. At least we don't have to be completely closeted if we have any mental issues now, but there's so much progress to make. We are nowhere near as advanced as we think we are.
See, like, I would say, like, it used to be when a woman got sexually assaulted, it used to be like, oh, you dressed that way, you were asking for it. With the male equivalent for that is, oh, are you sure you didn't want it? It's the same thing, just different words.
It didn't used to be that way. It's getting more that way again.
With females?
Yes.
Okay, that's wrong. I'm declaring that it's wrong. I'm just, but with guys, we still have to fight the, oh, you sure you weren't into it? You didn't want it kind of thing.
Well, you were up to bat. You wanted it. Isn't that what they say?
Yeah, and you can tell that no guy would ever say that with a straight face, because every guy knows little Jimmy has a mind of its own.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I don't want to end this thing kind of on a downer note.
Yeah. Damn.
No.
What the fuck? Sorry, I was just reading something. I was sent, and oh my god.
Yes.
I didn't want to acknowledge it, but like, oh yeah. All right. So let's do our final words on Harley Quinn. We're gonna go from the bottom to the top, and if you want to shout out anything, like plug anything of yours, any links you want me to share, just put them in the private chat, and I'll share them. So, Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. It's a shame that we had to send off our Arleen like this, but yeah, man, she and Conroy, they defined an era of quality animation that I don't think we'll see in our lifetime ever.
End of an era.
Yeah, Exactly. And I'm just glad to have been a part of it. I mean, I saw it from the
Yeah.
beginning to its end. And, we're all, life is ephemeral. So it's, we got to take our wins when we can. And that was definitely a win that I see, is that, I was alive when Arleen was. So I got to see Harley Quinn from the beginning all the way through to Kaylee Cuoco's rendition, unfortunately. Yeah,
Rendition.
I'm glad that we got to see it, because it's a great character. It transcended the medium, went into the comics, went into the video games, and Arleen, she'll be missed, man. Like, along with Kevin, along with everybody else that we've lost.
Bray Wyatt, Bob Barker.
Yep.
Like, I will say, I'm not too sad about Bob Barker because he was 99 and he had like his legacy was secured decades ago. Like 99, like that's a good age to go. Like I'm not
going to make it to
Look,
that.
he lived a good life. It's still sad for me because he was such an influential part of my tribe and actually bringing Lakota to the front of society, and in a very respectful way, where people even in the 70s were welcoming to him, with talking about his native side, all that. So it hits me quite a bit, but that's for a lot of reasons.
Real quick, did you ever have a chance to meet him?
In person, no, which is funny because I am actually related to him.
Oh, wow. All right, so Nix, last words on Arleen Sorkin, and then anything you want to say, shout out or whatever.
Hats off to you, Arleen. You inspired a generation of quirky wannabe girls, myself included. You were the poster child of weirdness for a whole generation, for good or bad, and we salute you for it.
And then Scott Pilgrim versus the World came out, and everyone had like a whole new generation of girls had a different quirky girl to latch onto.
Yeah.
They saw Ramona Flowers and felt so empowered.
Forget that.
Right.
She rules.
Not the message that the creator was trying to get across with Ramona, but
Harley Quinn is better than Ramona Flowers. Yes, that is a fact.
Absolutely.
All right. Eagle Rider, what do you got for me?
I mean, it goes without saying the influential. I mean, there were a few female characters who meant so much to me because they defied the stereotypes, because good or bad, they were so unique in who they were as people and stuff. And she was one of them. Jessica Rabbit, Morticia Addams. I mean, Rabbit and Addams are two of the ones I'd modeled myself after and wanting to be a wife, because as quirky, as weird, as over the top, as sexual as they were, as gothic, as twisted, they were absolutely devoted wives. In her, you saw this tragic one who wanted to be that kind of person at the beginning and absolutely got destroyed by getting herself in with the wrong people and became the darkness that she was fighting for a long time. And they all appealed to that same side of me, that while I'm an outsider, I'm not this little delicate flower, I wanted to be that good girl, that person who treats people right. And I could see that struggle in all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So she's always one of the ones that mattered to me.
Yeah. That's about, I'd say it's about it. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to say, Rose?
I'll leave you there on that one.
Okay. All right. I wanted to make sure you said everything you want to say. So as for myself, I mean, all the rest of you guys, thank you for joining me on this remembrance. Just remember, Arleen is in a better place, okay? She's free of pain. She's free of suffering. She's just free. And honestly, as long as you all remember her, she will never die. Her legacy will live on. The importance she had on all of you cannot be diminished. And just hold her in your heart, dear, and the woman will never die. I want to thank all of my hosts and all of you guys for coming out here. And this has been Nick from the Phoenix Press. And remember, I can only show you the door. You're the one supposed to walk through it.